Windows. Windows is the most widely used desktop operating system in the world. It was first introduced by Microsoft in 1985 as a graphical layer built on top of MS-DOS, which at that time was a command line system. The release of Windows 95 was a turning point, combining a modern interface with features like the Start menu and taskbar. Over the years, Microsoft refined Windows with versions like XP, 7, 10, and the current Windows 11. Windows was created to make personal computing accessible to the masses. Its strength lies in its wide compatibility. It supports almost every type of hardware and software. Businesses use it for office work and enterprise systems, while gamers choose it because most video games are optimized for Windows. Students, professionals, and casual users all find it versatile. However, its popularity also makes it a target for malware and viruses, so security is a constant challenge. It also tends to be heavier on system resources compared to lighter systems like Linux. Still, Windows remains the dominant force in personal and enterprise computing. macOS, developed by Apple, has its roots in Unix. It was first released in 1984 as the original macOS and later rebranded as macOS in 2016. Unlike Windows, macOS is tightly locked to Apple's own computers such as MacBooks and iMacs. This integration allows Apple to optimize hardware and software together, creating a smooth, stable, and polished user experience. macOS is especially favored by creative professionals, video editors, designers, musicians, because it comes with high-quality creative tools and is optimized for tasks like graphics and media production. It also connects seamlessly with other Apple devices such as iPhones, iPads, and Apple Watches, creating a unified ecosystem. It is less prone to viruses than Windows, thanks to its Unix foundations and Apple's strict control. However, it is more expensive because you can only get it with Apple hardware, and it has limited hardware choices. Still, for those who value design, security, and ecosystem integration, macOS is the go-to choice. Linux. Linux is an open-source operating system created by Linus Torvalds in 1991. Unlike Windows and macOS, which are closed and controlled by corporations, Linux is free and open for anyone to modify. This makes it incredibly flexible and customizable. Linux is not a single operating system, but comes in many distributions, known as distros. Popular ones include Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, and Kali Linux. Each distro has its own focus: Ubuntu for everyday users, Fedora for developers, and Kali for cybersecurity experts. Linux powers much of the internet. The majority of web servers run on it. It's also the backbone of supercomputers and is embedded in many devices. Even Android, the most popular mobile OS, is built on the Linux kernel. It is highly secure and stable, making it ideal for critical systems. But for beginners, it can be difficult to learn, and many mainstream software programs are not available on Linux without alternatives or compatibility layers. Linux is perfect for developers, IT professionals, and anyone who wants total control of their system. Android. Android was launched by Google in 2008 and is based on the Linux kernel. It was designed specifically for touchscreen devices, mainly smartphones and tablets. Today, Android dominates the mobile market, powering more than 70% of smartphones worldwide. Its biggest strength is its openness. Manufacturers like Samsung, Xiaomi, and OnePlus can customize it for their devices. This gives consumers a wide variety of options, from budget phones to premium flagships. Android supports millions of apps through the Google Play Store, making it versatile for social media, gaming, productivity, and entertainment. However, this openness creates a problem known as fragmentation. Different manufacturers release updates at different times. So many devices run older versions of Android. Despite this, Android remains the most accessible and customizable mobile operating system, appealing to almost everyone, from casual users to power users. iOS. iOS is Apple's mobile operating system, first released in 2007 alongside the original iPhone. Initially called iPhone OS, it was rebranded to iOS in 2010. Unlike Android, iOS is a closed system and runs only on Apple devices like iPhones and iPads. iOS is known for its smooth performance, tight security, and consistent updates. Apple controls both the hardware and software, ensuring that devices run efficiently for years. It also integrates perfectly with macOS and other Apple services, making the ecosystem seamless. The App Store offers millions of apps, and developers often release apps on iOS first because of its profitable user base. The main drawbacks are limited customization and the high price of Apple devices. iOS is for users who value simplicity, security, and premium experience. Chrome OS was introduced by Google in 2011. It is built on Linux and uses the Chrome web browser as its main interface. Chrome OS is lightweight and designed around cloud computing, meaning most tasks are done online rather than on the device. It is commonly found on Chromebooks, which are affordable laptops. Chrome OS is fast, simple, and secure, making it popular in schools and among people who need basic computing like browsing, streaming, or working in Google Docs. The limitation is that without internet access, many features are unavailable. It's not ideal for heavy tasks like video editing or gaming. Chrome OS is best for students, educators, and light computer users. Unix. Unix is one of the oldest operating systems, first developed in the 1960s at Bell Labs. It introduced many concepts that modern OS still use, such as multitasking and multi-user systems. DOS or disk. Operating system MS-DOS was released by Microsoft in 1981 and was one of the earliest operating systems for personal computers. Unlike modern systems with graphical interfaces, DOS was entirely command-line based. You had to type commands to run programs and manage files. In the 1980s and early 1990s, DOS was the standard for PCs. Windows itself started as a graphical shell on top of DOS. Eventually, DOS faded as Windows took over. Today, DOS is rarely used, except for retro computing or running very old software. Its historical importance lies in bringing affordable computing to homes and businesses in the early PC era. BSD, or Berkeley Software Distribution. BSD was developed at the University of California, Berkeley in the 1970s as an advanced version of Unix. BSD introduced many networking and performance features that shaped modern internet technology. Although not as popular as Linux, BSD is highly respected for its stability and security. It is still used in servers, research systems, and some modern technologies. In fact, parts of BSD's code are built into macOS and iOS, meaning Apple users indirectly rely on BSD every day. BSD is mainly for advanced users, developers, and organizations that need reliability and strong networking capabilities. Embedded operating systems. Embedded operating systems are designed for devices that are not traditional computers. These systems run in the background of machines like smart TVs, cars, ATMs, medical devices, and even washing machines. Unlike general operating systems, embedded systems are specialized and optimized to use very limited resources. They are lightweight, stable, and built to perform one task very reliably. Most people never notice these systems, but they run the world behind the scenes. From controlling traffic lights to powering spacecraft, embedded OS are everywhere. Operating systems are the invisible engines of technology. Windows dominates desktops with compatibility. macOS shines in creative work and stability. Linux powers the backbone of the internet. Android connects billions of smartphones, while iOS creates a premium, secure mobile experience. Chrome OS simplifies computing for education and light use. Unix and BSD laid the foundations for everything we use today, while DOS reminds us where it all began. And embedded operating systems quietly keep the modern world running. Without an operating system, computers, phones, and devices would just be lifeless machines. With them, they become powerful tools that shape how we live, work, and connect.